Alright, let's dive right into this explainer and decode one of the absolute most fascinating and honestly misunderstood technological roller coasters of our entire lifetime.
Just a few years ago, the whole world watched in total disbelief as simple digital images of pixelated characters and, bored-looking monkeys sold for absolute fortunes. It left pretty much everyone scratching their heads, asking, what on earth is actually going on here?
So, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with what NFTs actually are, analyze that massive 2021 boom, look at the dramatic crash, and finally explore the practical future of this tech.
Okay, Section 1. What are NFTs? Let's quickly get down to the basics. Think of it this way. If you have a 100 rupee note, you can easily swap it for another 100 rupee note, right? It's completely interchangeable. But you would never ever trade a one-of-a-kind cricket bat signed by Sachin Tendulkar for a generic bat from a store. That signature makes the bat unique, or non-fungible. An NFT is basically just the digital version of that unique signature.
Now you might be wondering, how do you actually prove you own a digital original when anyone can literally just right-click and save a photo? Well, enter the blockchain. It basically acts as an unerasable digital title deed, a massive public ledger that proves exactly who holds the true, authentic file.
So what's under the hood? An NFT's DNA has 3 core properties. It absolutely must be unique. It's immutable, meaning it can't be erased, destroyed, or manipulated in any way. And it's completely non-interchangeable. At the end of the day, industry expert Dane Scarborough really hit the nail on the head. You can basically think of these tokens as digital birth certificates for assets on the internet. They just grant verifiable proof of ownership.
Section 2. The 2021 meteoric rise. How did a simple digital certificate turn into a massive global frenzy?
Believe it or not, the journey actually started way back in 2014 with a super niche experiment called Quantum. Fast forward a bit, and it became a viral sensation with people breeding digital cats in 2017 before totally exploding into the mainstream in 2021.
Now, this explosion didn't just happen out of nowhere. It was literally the perfect storm. People were stuck at home during the pandemic, they had extra savings, and way more screen time. Combine that with a newfound ability to actually sell digital scarcity, and boom, you've got an intense gold rush mentality fueled by massive FOMO.
You can literally see the hype taking off right here. Global interest just absolutely skyrocketed in 2021 as major celebrities, established artists, and even traditional auction houses jumped in and legitimized the whole craze. $69 million. Just let that sink in for a second. That staggering number was the Christie's auction price for digital artist Beeple's Collage. That moment threw absolute gasoline on the fire because suddenly everyone realized there was insane monetary value attached to digital files. And driven by all that wild excitement, the total market volume hit an unbelievable $25 billion in 2021 alone. Guys, that represents a 26,000% growth from the previous year. Completely unprecedented.
Section 3. The Great Correction. Because as we all know, what goes up with that kind of crazy velocity has to eventually come down.
We really have to ask ourselves, how did a $25 billion market suddenly enter a freezing crypto winter practically overnight? Well, the reality check was absolutely brutal. Research shows that a devastating 95% of NFT collections lost nearly all of their monetary value by 2023. The bubble burst thanks to a whole combination of macroeconomic factors. Rising inflation was pulling money out of risky assets, people were finally returning to the real world after lockdowns ended, and then you had really strict new government interventions. For example, India's 30% tax law on digital assets completely killed off the quick flipping market. On top of all that, the market was buckling under the weight of the greater fool's theory. Let's be real, most people weren't buying these assets because they loved the art. They were buying them hoping the music wouldn't stop before they could offload them to the next buyer, the greater fool, at an even higher premium. The financial pain was pretty undeniable. Daily sales plummeted by a staggering 92% by mid-2022, which really signaled the total death of the pure speculation phase. And finally, Section 4. From hype to utility. But look, just because the speculative bubble burst doesn't mean the underlying technology is dead at all. It's actually just growing up. As industry experts like Dr. Joshua Alul point out, the projects that crashed, they completely lacked actual utility. The long-term future entirely belongs to tokens that do something genuinely useful out there in the real world. And we're seeing that happen right now.
This core technology is being used to securely store things like health records and digital passports. It's allowing people to own fractional shares of real estate, and it's even giving gamers true, actual ownership of their items across totally different gaming platforms.
Essentially, the ecosystem is stabilizing. We're officially leaving behind the cartoon ape casinos and moving firmly into a productive, working phase where this tech is finally being used to solve real-world problems.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. Was the total destruction of all that hype actually the exact price we had to pay to clear the stage for a truly transformative, decentralized digital economy? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.